Chapter 3 The Crown of Gold. Once upon a time, there was a fairy who was very sad. He sat in a yellow celandine and swayed to and fro, thinking about everything. Two big tears rolled down his cheeks and trickled down the stalk of the celandine. Oh dear, he sighed. Whatever is the matter? Said a brimstone butterfly out for the first time that spring. Oh, answered Cassilda, the little fairy, I'm sad because I don't do anything so well as the other fairies can. I can't make beautiful dresses from the morning mist like Sylphi. I can't paint the sunset pink, and I can't even hang the dewdrops on the grasses without spilling them. That is very sad, said the butterfly. But what does it matter? Well, you see, explained Cassilda, every summer our king holds his court and gives little silver crowns set with pearls to all those fairies who do beautiful work. All my friends have got crowns, but I never win one, however hard I try. Cheer up, said the butterfly. There are other things worthwhile doing, even if you don't win the crown for them. Oh, what? Exclaimed Cassilda. Why, go into the world of boys and girls and see if you can't help the people there a bit, said the butterfly. There's always lots of things to be done, even if you can't do them really well. I'll go at once, cried Cassilda, standing up in the swaying celandine. Goodbye, yellow butterfly, and thank you. Off he flew out of fairyland and into our world. The first thing he came to there was a clothesline pegged with clothes. Mr. Wind was tugging at one beautiful frock and trying his hardest to pull it down into the mud. You are in a bad mood today, Mr. Wind, cried Cassilda. He flew onto the clothesline and sat down by the frock, holding it tight. Mr. Wind tugged and very nearly made the little fairy tumble off. Then out of the house hobbled an old woman. When she saw Cassilda, she cried out with pleasure. Oh, thank you, she said. If you hadn't held the frock on the line for me, little fairy, the wind would have whisked it away, and I should have had to wash it clean again. My poor old back is tired of stooping to wash, so thank you very much. Don't mention it, called Cassilda, flying off again. The next day, Cassilda heard a tiny child crying bitterly because his balloon had flown away and he could not reach it. Never mind, said Cassilda, watch me get it. And off he flew up into the air, caught the string, and flew down again. The balloon came down with the string, and the child was delighted. Oh, thank you, dear little fairy, he said gratefully. Don't mention it, said Cassilda, flying away. Another time, Cassilda, peeping in at a window of a little house, saw a woman crying. She was holding her head and saying, Oh, my head does hurt so. Whatever can I do for her, thought Cassilda. I can't think of anything. He looked around the room and noticed how dirty and dark it was. I know, he thought, the room wants brightening up. I'll get some flowers. Off he flew to the meadows and brought back a lovely bunch of golden buttercups and white daisies. He dropped them into the woman's lap. She was so astonished that she stopped crying and forgot all about her bad headache. "How lovely," she cried, "and how dark and dirty the room looks now with these bright flowers in it. I must hurry up and clean it." So she put the flowers in water and started cleaning the room, singing cheerfully. Cassilda flew away, feeling very pleased with himself. "Tomorrow is the day our king holds his court and gives those lovely crowns," he said to himself. "I shall have to go, but I shan't mind a bit not winning a crown, because I've found something else I can do to make myself happy." Every fairy came to the king's palace the next day. The king was on his throne, and by him were many little silver crowns set with pearls. There was also one little golden crown set with diamonds, and Cassilda wondered whether any of his friends had won it. "Do you think you won a crown this year?" asked Sylphi, the fairy dressmaker. "Oh no," answered Cassilda. "I know I haven't, because I've stopped doing beautiful things, and I live in the world of boys and girls now." Then the king made a speech and said how glad he was to have the crowns to give to fairies who had done beautiful things that year. "Peronelle," he called, "here is a crown for you. You did a most beautiful thing when you painted the almond blossom such a lovely pink this spring." Peronelle proudly received the crown. "Morphel," said the king, "this crown is given to you for ringing the blue bells so sweetly at our last dance." Morphel went up for his crown most delighted. Then one by one the king gave out all his crowns except the gold one. "This crown," he said, "is for a little fairy who gave up doing beautiful things in fairyland, but went all by himself into the world of boys and girls and did beautiful things there. He didn't think they were beautiful, but they were, and we are very proud of him. Cassilda, here is your crown." You can just imagine how pleased Cassilda was, and what a lovely surprise he had. He's the only fairy in fairyland who wears a golden crown. So, if you meet a fairy wearing one, you will know at once that it is Cassilda.